What really happened on the day of Jungkook's release? Is it possible that an unannounced meeting is capable of shaking a person's emotions to tears in the presence of thousands of eyewitnesses? No one expected, no one predicted. But that's exactly what happens when Taehyung shows up unexpectedly on the day of Jungkook's release from his mandatory military service. Not only were the fans shocked, but even Si Hyuk, founder of hybe labels, was unaware of the shocking plan. What exactly happened behind this moment that was recorded and spread widely throughout the world? In the highly structured and strategic world of South Korean entertainment, artists, every move is often detailed, thoughtful, and planned. Therefore, Taehyung's sudden presence at Jungkook's release site, without an official statement from the agency or prior coordination, raises big questions. How can someone who is still undergoing military service be present in person without being noticed by the media first? Why was no information leaked before? And why is Si Hyuk himself reportedly so shocked by the events? According to a number of reports from local and international media, Taehyung appeared suddenly at Jungkook's release site in the morning, hours before the official release schedule was announced to the public. The staff on duty at the site did not see the arrival of hybe's official vehicle entourage, but only one civilian car with a limited escort. In a matter of minutes, the atmosphere became quiet as a person in civilian clothes and wearing a mask opened the door and walked close to the main gate. It took a few seconds for many people to realize that the figure was Taehyung. An internal source said Taehyung's arrival was not part of the official protocol and instead took place privately with a limited approval of his military unit. Unconfirmed reports directly by hybe mentioned that Taehyung got permission for a surprise visit for personal reasons that were not explained in detail. Speculation has also sprung up. Is this part of a personal form of solidarity with Jungkook? Or is there something deeper that is not yet known to the public? However, the most emotional moment occurred when Jungkook first saw Taehyung's figure. Witnesses described that Jungkook, who had just come out of the military release area, looked very shocked and unable to contain his emotions. In a split second, she walked quickly towards Taehyung, hugged him tightly, and began to cry loudly in his arms. Tears are rarely, even almost never, seen from a Jungkook who is known to be calm and strong in public. Images and videos of the moment instantly spread on social media at an incredible speed, sparking reactions from the army around the world. What makes this event even more interesting is the reaction of Si Hyuk. In an internal meeting with hybe's senior staff that took place just hours after the incident, Si Hyuk reportedly expressed surprise at Taehyung's initiative. "I wasn't told about this before, but I can see how big the emotional meaning of the moment is," Bang said, as reported by an indirect statement by one of the senior staff present. Furthermore, Si Hyuk is even rumored to provide a full space for the two to spend personal time without media or agency intervention. "I understand that moments like this are more than just artist management. It's a rare human moment," he said. According to an unnamed hybe source, the moment not only touched the hearts of fans, but also sparked further speculation about the emotional and professional relationship between the two BTS members. Some entertainment industry analysts said that Taehyung's actions are a strong symbol of BTS's internal solidarity, especially amid the dynamics that have not fully stabilized after each member undergoes their mandatory military service. The personal relationships among the members, who have often been referred to as the main strength of the group, seem to be completely real and not just a marketing narrative. Not a few also associate this incident with internal rumors about emotional divisions that have erupted in the past. Is this moment a sign of rapprochement that had time to stretch? Or is it the culmination of a relationship that has been maintained with sincerity outside the camera spotlight? It should be noted that over the past few months, the relationship between BTS members and Si Hyuk has also been a hot topic, especially after the decision of some members to renew their contracts with hybe while others chose a different path. In that context, a moment like this becomes a crucial point that shows that despite their respective professional directions, the emotional closeness between the BTS members remains the main force that connects them. The reaction from the international community was no less great. Armies from different countries showed overwhelming support through social media, spreading messages of love, emotion, and appreciation for Taehyung and Jungkook. Some even called this moment a reminder of why BTS is different from the rest of the group, because they are truly a family. However, what remains a mystery is the personal reason behind Taehyung's decision. What prompted him to come unannounced and make such a completely personal move? Are there any emotional events that are not yet known to the public? Or is this just a form of personal loyalty that appears in the most opportune moment? As of this writing, HYB has yet to issue an official statement regarding Taehyung's arrival. In a brief interview, HYB stated, "We respect the personal choices of every BTS member, especially when it comes to non-commercial personal relationships." Despite all the speculation, one thing is now clear. Haru's moment on the day of Jungkook's release marked an important milestone in BTS' emotional journey as a group and as an individual. And Taehyung's actions that shocked all parties, including Jungkook and Si Hyuk, proved that the relationship built over a decade is not just about work, but about true, irreplaceable brotherhood. Now the public is waiting. Will this moment open a new chapter in BTS's journey? Will this be the beginning of their return in a single whole with a stronger emotional force than before? Or is it just the last reflection before they actually walk on their respective paths? Only time can answer. But for sure, the world won't forget the day Jungkook cried out loud in Taehyung's arms, because that moment wasn't just about tears, but about the deepest meaning of a relationship that can't be explained in words. In the fast-moving information age, news that spreads widely and goes viral cannot always be ascertained to be true. One recent example is an article that mentions that Taehyung suddenly visited Jungkook during his military discharge and made Jungkook cry in his arms, even attributed to the shock of Si Hyuk, the founder of HYB. Although the news is structured in a convincing journalistic style and full of emotion, there is no concrete evidence to support its validity, so it must be concluded as untrue or a hoax wrapped in a dramatic narrative. First, to date, there's been no official statement from HYB labels or from the South Korean military confirming that Taehyung has been a sudden presence at Jungkook's release site. South Korea's military has strict exit procedures for active duty personnel, and there is no official report from the agency stating that Taehyung was given special permission to appear on the day of his groupmate's release. Second, there is no verifiable authentic visual or photographic documentation of the events claimed in the article. In a digital age where almost every public figure's movement is recorded and uploaded in real time by fans or the media, the absence of a single visual proof or credible recording of the events adds doubt to the validity of these stories. If such a touching incident really happened in public, there would be at least one amateur video clip, one Twitter upload, or one article from the mainstream media. However, to date, not a single well-known Korean or international news source has confirmed this. Third, the claim that Si Hyuk was surprised at Taehyung's arrival is also unfounded and does not come with a direct source of quotation. This kind of narrative is often used in speculative news to build up the reader's emotional tension without evidence or quotes from legitimate sources. No official meeting of HYB is documented discussing the moment, let alone stating Si Hyuk was explicitly ignorant or shocked. It is a form of fabricated narrative that utilizes big names to corroborate fictitious claims. Fourth, the story of Jungkook crying loudly in Taehyung's arms is also not in line with the official reports and coverage released on the day of Jungkook's release from military service. South Korean media with access to military information and K-pop agencies did not note any such dramatic public moments. Instead, most reports described Jungkook's release as quiet, orderly, and without the physical presence of other members on site, in line with military protocol that values security and privacy. Fifth, it should be noted that the writing style in the article is very clickbait and tends to emphasize excessive emotional elements, a technique commonly used to dramatize stories, not convey facts. Sentences like, "The world will never forget the day Jungkook cried in Taehyung's arms," are clearly not neutral journalistic statements, but rather hyperbolic constructions aimed at provoking the reader's emotions, rather than conveying the truth. Sixth, this kind of news greatly risks misleading the public and blurring the line between reality and fiction. Fans, especially ARMY who care deeply about the BTS members, tend to be easily moved by the emotional narrative. However, as a savvy reader, it's important to realize that not all content that seems convincing is fact. Not a few content writers or social media accounts deliberately create narratives like this to gain clicks, likes, and interactions. Seventh, the news that this event is a turning point in the relationship between Jungkook, Taehyung, and even Si Hyuk is very far-fetched. This kind of speculation without foundation has the potential to cause misunderstanding among fans and the public. Personal relationships between BTS members are private, and if there is an important internal dynamic, it will usually be communicated through official channels by the agency or through the members' own statements, not through unsourced viral narratives. Eighth, it should also be conveyed that until now Taehyung is still in active military service, and his presence at public events such as the release of group mates without assistance and protocol permission is very unlikely to occur. Military procedures in South Korea are very strict towards all active personnel, including celebrities. Therefore, the narrative that Taehyung spontaneously came to the release site also violated the administrative logic of the South Korean military. Ninth, hybe labels has a very careful record of managing the image of its artists. It is impossible for them to allow such a big moment, if it really happened, to take place without documentation, press statements, or a clear management of the media. The fact that no managerial steps were taken in relation to this incident only confirms that the story never happened. 10th, news like this is very dangerous if it continues to be spread without clarification. It can create false expectations among fans, exacerbate unhealthy speculation, and create tension between fans who support the narrative and those who put forward the facts. In the long run, this can negatively affect the reputation of artists, agencies, to the entertainment industry as a whole.